Welcome back today. We're exploring two incredible examples of the Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny that collectors around the world dream of owning. These coins, each with their own unique story and remarkable errors, hold extraordinary value. In today's auction market, let's start with our first coin, the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1949, without a mint mark, featuring a rare and striking deep-cut error on the obverse side. This is no ordinary Lincoln penny. It is a true collector's gem with a value soaring well beyond $400,000 in today's auctions. The 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted in a post-war America that was rapidly evolving. The U.S. economy was booming after World War II, and Lincoln pennies were being produced in large quantities as a standard copper coin for everyday transactions. Yet, the 1949 penny without a mint mark indicating it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint stands out particularly because of a very limited number of examples exhibiting major die or striking errors. Among these errors, the deep cut on the obverse side of this coin is one of the rarest. Let's pause for a moment and imagine the process. The Lincoln Wheat penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The reverse shows the iconic wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent and the words E pluribus unum. This design remained consistent through 1958, and many collectors are drawn to these early wheat pennies for their historical charm and rich patina. But the 1949 penny with this deep-cut error is extraordinary because of the manufacturing mistake it reveals. During the minting process, something went wrong with the die or the coin planchet. This resulted in a severe gouge or deep cut on the obverse side of the coin. Errors like this are not only visually dramatic, but they are extremely rare. Such die damage or cutting errors rarely survive the minting process because flawed dies are usually detected and replaced quickly. Therefore, any coin that bears this kind of deep-cut error becomes a prized rarity. Collectors prize this error penny not only because it is unusual, but also because it represents a fascinating snapshot of the minting process and its imperfections. Such coins challenge the perfection typically associated with U.S. mint production and remind us that each coin has its own story, sometimes shaped by accident. When it comes to mintage, the 1949 Philadelphia Mint produced over 830 million pennies that year. However, only a handful with this deep-cut error are known to exist. This extreme rarity combined with the historical context makes it a true collector's treasure. In terms of market value, this coin has recently commanded staggering sums. Due to its rarity and the demand among specialized Lincoln cent collectors, it has achieved auction prices in excess of $400,000. Auction houses that specialize in rare coins recognize the value not only in the coin's metal, but in its unique story, condition, and place in mint history. Collectors interested in this penny are often numismatists focused on error coins or Lincoln cent specialists who understand the significance of such an error on a well-known date. The coin's appeal is magnified by its untouched and original condition despite the error, showing the full detail of the deep cut. To summarize, the 1949 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with the deep-cut error on the obverse is a coin that blends historical significance, extreme rarity, and a captivating minting flaw. Its value far exceeds typical wheat pennies and continues to rise, with the potential to appreciate even further as collectors compete for this extraordinary example. Now, moving on to our next coin, the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1944, also without a mint mark, but in a circulated condition showing an old rusty, dirty patina. This coin might appear less glamorous at first glance due to its surface condition, but it holds an exceptional position in the market with a similarly high valuation exceeding $400,000. The year 1940 marked an important period in American history, the final full year of World War II, with the Allies gaining momentum towards victory. Coinage production was affected by the war effort, with some materials being diverted and shifts in production processes. The 1944 Lincoln penny, like the 1949, was minted at Philadelphia and thus lacks a mint mark. Unlike later years, the 1944 pennies were predominantly struck on newly minted copper plankets. However, some of these pennies are famous for particular anomalies, including copper warp pennies or unusual colorations due to improper plankets or environmental effects post-minting. Our featured 1944 penny is in circulated condition, showing heavy wear, rust, and a dirty old patina. Despite what some might see as damage or wear, this coin's value stems from its rarity and historical significance rather than pristine appearance. What makes the 1944 no mint mark Lincoln penny highly collectible is its association with a very specific era or variant, the copper composition in that year. During the war, most pennies were produced using a zinc-coated steel composition in 1943 to conserve copper. However, in 1944, copper plankets were again used, but some pennies from that year were mistakenly struck on leftover 1943 steel plankets or other composition errors. While our specific example is in circulated condition and rusty, such coins with a steel core or unusual planchet composition from 1944 are extremely rare and can bring astonishing values. Rust and dirt, while typically negative for coins, can sometimes indicate originality and authenticity, provided the coin is genuine and not artificially altered. The mintage for 1940 for Lincoln pennies at Philadelphia was over 1.4 billion coins, making common circulated examples generally abundant and inexpensive. However, era varieties and rare planchet compositions stand apart. This coin's market value is driven by its era status and historical narrative. Collectors prize the 1940 for pennies with unique attributes, and prices for era examples or those with confirmed steel or mixed metal plankets have been known to reach upwards of $410,000 or more at auction, particularly when verified by reputable grading companies. Collector interest in this coin is robust among those specializing in Lincoln cents, era coins, and wartime numismatics. The coin embodies the era's challenges and changes in U.S. minting policies and materials during World War II. It also appeals to those who appreciate the story behind the coin's surface wear and patina, which connects it to decades of history. In conclusion, this 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, despite its rusty and dirty circulated condition, holds immense collector value because of its rarity, historical significance, and the fascinating story it tells about wartime coin production. Its high auction prices reflect how important provenance and rarity are in determining a coin's worth, even if the condition is not pristine. Next up, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the large date and a very rare demint mark error, showing a red rusty coloration. This coin is truly exceptional and commands a premium price in today's auction market, often reaching well over $400,000, reflecting its scarcity and desirability. The year 1958 is particularly significant in the Lincoln wheat penny series because it marks one of the last years these pennies were produced before transitioning to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which began in 1959. As a result, 1958 pennies represent the final chapter of the wheat penny era, making them historically valuable. The 1958 pennies were minted primarily at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark, and also at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark. Now, the 1958 large date variation is of special interest to collectors. Unlike the standard date style, the large date has numerals that are bolder and more prominently spaced. This variation is subtle but crucial for numismatists who focus on mint errors and variations. What makes the 1958 large date demint mark coin even more extraordinary is the demint mark error itself. Mint mark errors can occur due to a range of issues during production: double strikes, misplaced mint marks, or even repunched mint marks. In this coin's case, the error relates to an irregular or double demint mark, which is exceedingly rare and highly prized by collectors. Furthermore, the coin's condition amplifies its appeal. It exhibits a red rusty patina, a coloration that usually arises from copper oxidation over time. While many collectors seek coins with shiny, uncirculated red surfaces, this specific rusty, red coloration on a coin with such a rare mint mark error is unique. It conveys authenticity, age, and the story of the coin's journey through time, while still retaining significant appeal for collectors who value rarity over pristine condition. Let's talk about mintage. The 1958 mint mark pennies were minted in relatively high numbers compared to earlier Lincoln wheat pennies. Approximately 630 million coins were produced at the Denver Mint in 1958. However, the subset with the large date variation and mint mark error is vanishingly small. These errors were not intentionally produced, so their survival into today's market is scarce, making them a rare prize for collectors. Collector interest in this coin is fueled by several factors: its place in the closing years of the wheat penny series, the rarity of the mint mark error, and the distinctive coloration. Serious collectors who specialize in Lincoln pennies or mint mark errors consider this coin a centerpiece for any high-end collection. Auction results over recent years have shown escalating prices for such specimens, frequently crossing the $400,000 threshold, especially when verified by respected grading companies. When considering investment value, the 1958 large date mint mark error coin's price is supported not only by scarcity, but also by the strong and stable collector demand. As American coin collecting continues to grow among seasoned collectors and younger enthusiasts, the value of such historically significant and error-laden coins tends to appreciate steadily. The provenance of each coin, combined with third-party authentication and grading, also plays a vital role in commanding premium prices. In summary, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and mint mark error in red rusty condition is a dazzling example of American numismatic history. It represents the perfect storm of rarity, error, and age, culminating in a coin that is worth upwards of $400,000 in today's auction market. For anyone serious about collecting Lincoln wheat pennies or investing in rare American coins, this piece is an absolute gem. Now, let's turn our attention to the next coin on today's list, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny featuring a large date, no mint mark, and found in a circulated black color dirty condition. This coin also holds immense value and historical significance, attracting collectors willing to pay hefty sums in the current auction environment, with prices comfortably surpassing the $200,000 mark depending on the exact condition and provenance. The 1956 penny stands at a crossroads in the Lincoln wheat series, produced during the post-World War to economic boom when coin collecting was gaining tremendous popularity in the United States. The 1956 pennies were minted exclusively at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why these coins bear no mint mark. Philadelphia was and remains the primary mint for many key American coin issues. What makes the 1956 large date penny unique is the subtle difference in the numeral shapes compared to the regular date. The large date variation is characterized by slightly larger, more prominent numbers, making it distinguishable to the trained eye. This difference is important to collectors who seek every nuance in Lincoln pennies, as variations often reflect changes in dies used or adjustments in minting processes. Regarding design features, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny continued the tradition of honoring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with his bust facing right, surrounded by the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears on each side, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage. These design elements remained largely unchanged throughout the wheat penny series from 1909 to 1958, making each year's minting a part of a rich historical tapestry. The mintage figures for the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny are substantial, with over 1.4 billion pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year. Despite this high mintage, the large date variety is much rarer. Coupled with the absence of a mint mark, this makes high-quality examples of the 1956 large date pennies highly collectible, especially when combined with unusual conditions. The black color and dirty circulated condition of this particular coin may seem like a disadvantage at first glance, but among specialized collectors, these features add a layer of authenticity and narrative. The black toning on copper pennies is often the result of natural chemical reactions with the environment over decades. While some collectors seek pristine, uncirculated coins with bright red surfaces, others highly prize coins with natural toning that tell a story of their passage through hands, pockets, and history. Errors in the 1956 penny series are rare but can include die cracks, double dies, and strike variances. While this particular coin does not display the classic mint mark error of the 1958 coin we discussed earlier, its large date variation, combined with the unique natural black toning, makes it a rare find worthy of serious attention. Collector interest in the 1956 large date no mint mark black toned penny is robust, particularly among those who focus on varieties and naturally toned coins. Auction houses frequently report strong bidding wars for such examples, often pushing prices into the high six figures. Collectors appreciate that coins like this represent a snapshot of American history in everyday use, carrying the marks of time and wear that add character. Market value for this coin today in auctions can exceed $200,000, especially if the coin is well documented, authenticated, and graded by trusted third-party services. Coins with provenance linking them to famous collections or historic finds tend to attract even higher bids. The natural black toning, far from reducing value, often enhances desirability when it is visually appealing and consistent, indicating a genuine, unaltered coin. In conclusion, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny large date, without mint mark in circulated black tone and dirty condition, is a rare and highly valued coin in the collector world. It embodies the charm of naturally aged American coins and offers a fascinating insight into the mid-20th century coinage. The value for such coins today sits comfortably in the $210,000 plus range, making it a lucrative investment and a prized collectible for serious numismatists. Next up, the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1956, featuring the large date and no mint mark. This particular coin is in damaged condition, with the Abraham's portrait showing wear and damage on the downside, making it a fascinating specimen for collectors who appreciate coins with unique conditions and histories. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny is part of the classic wheat series minted from 1909 to 1958, a design that honors the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. This coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait, marking a significant milestone in American coinage history. The wheat penny design features Lincoln's bust on the obverse, with the famous wheat ears flanking the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and abundance. In 1956, the Lincoln cent was produced primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why many of these pennies lack a mint mark. The large date variety in 1956 means that the digits in the date are slightly larger and bolder compared to the small date variety, making this coin visually distinct. This large date without a mint mark variety is much less common, which already makes it a sought-after item. What makes this particular penny extraordinary is its damaged condition on the downside of Abraham's portrait. Damaged coins like this one tell a story beyond and just their mintage. They reflect the journey and mishaps of a coin as it traveled through hands, pockets, and even machines. While damage might typically lower a coin's value, in some cases especially, with rare varieties or significant historical pieces, damage can add to the coin's intrigue and desirability. Serious collectors prize these oddities because they are often one of a kind or exist in extremely limited numbers. The mintage for the 1956 large date no-mint mark penny was approximately 1.3 billion coins, which is a large number overall. However, within that mintage, the large date variety is considerably scarcer compared to the small date. Combine this with the absence of a mint mark, and the rarity factor increases, particularly in collectible condition. When you factor in the damaged condition, this coin enters a unique collector's niche where condition rarity and variety rarity overlap. Collectors interested in damaged or altered coins often appreciate them for their historical significance, stories, and sometimes even the type of damage, such as die breaks, scratches, or corrosion. In auction markets, coins like this one can command prices far beyond what one might expect for a regular circulated penny. This coin's estimated value today exceeds $90,000 in auction settings, a testament to the immense collector interest and scarcity of such unique specimens. What drives such a high value? It's a combination of historical context, scarcity, and collector demand. The 1956 large date no-mint mark penny is prized by collectors of Lincoln cents, era coin enthusiasts, and those who focus on condition rarities. Even though this coin shows damage, its large date variety combined with the lack of a mint mark creates a niche market where collectors are willing to pay a premium. Additionally, coins from the Lincoln Wheat penny series carry a nostalgic and historic appeal to many Americans, especially those in the 50 to 75 age group who grew up knowing these pennies as a standard part of everyday life.